Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the complete review of the Gionee S11 Lite. So guys, this is how the phone looks, and before we get started, let's have a quick look at the specifications. This phone sports a 5.7-inch IPS display with HD Plus resolution in the new 18:9 aspect ratio. Now this phone sports a Snapdragon 430 processor with Adreno 505 GPU, 4GB of RAM and 32GB of storage. Out of that 4GB of RAM, you get about 2.9GB of free RAM out of the box, and out of that 32GB of storage, you get about 21GB of free space for your user apps and user data. On the rear, it sports a dual camera setup with a 13MP primary camera with f2.0 aperture and a 2MP secondary camera with f2.0 aperture for depth sensing. On the front, it sports a 16MP selfie camera with f2.2 aperture, and all this is powered by a 3000 mAh battery. It has a thickness of 7.85 mm and weighs just 141 grams. Right out of the box, it's running Amigo OS 5.0 based on Android 7.1.1 Nougat. It has all the basic sensors like the proximity sensor, ambient sensor, compass, LED notification light, and even a fingerprint scanner on the back, but it is missing the gyroscope. Now this one is sold only offline in retail markets, so it will be completely unfair to compare it with online exclusive phones from Xiaomi, Moto or Honor. Now with that said, let's get on with the review. So guys, coming to the design and build, this phone as you can see has a pretty unique build. On the back, it is a plastic back panel with a smooth super glossy finish, and as you can see, it does make some amazing art with light, and this is one of the most highlighting features of this phone. Now on the front, it has the regular display with a 2.5D curved glass, nothing impressive like the back. Now the buttons on this phone are all to the right side, they're not sufficiently elevated, but they do have a nice clicky feel to them. On the left side, it has a SIM card tray that houses a nano SIM slot and a hybrid SIM slot. I really wish it had a dedicated SD card slot at least. Now at the bottom, we have the mono speaker, micro USB charging port, microphone hole and the audio jack. At the top, it is completely plain. On the back, it is the dual camera setup, a single LED flash and a fingerprint scanner. Now as you can see, the back is super glossy, just like a mirror finish, and it's a fingerprint magnet. It is also slippery, but not as much as phones with metal build or glass build like the Honor 9 Lite. So on the whole, I really don't have much complaints about the design and build. It's very well built and looks pretty unique. So guys, coming to the hardware, it supports dual SIM. I've tested it with Jio and Airtel networks. Call quality and signal reception was pretty good. I didn't have any major issues. Now coming to the fingerprint scanner, it is easily locatable and reachable using the index finger. It's definitely my favorite position. Now coming to the unlocking speeds, it is super fast. I mean, the fingerprint scanner reads the fingerprint super fast, but the phone takes like a half a second to unlock the phone. So here we go. So guys, as you have seen, fingerprint scanner is fast, but it's taking like half a second to unlock the phone, which is definitely manageable. Now coming to the display, this is the first phone from Gionee to come with the new full view display with the 18:9 aspect ratio. So the bezels are smaller than their previous phones and now come with on-screen buttons, and the display is pretty good. It just has HD Plus resolution, which is perfectly fine for regular usage, but while gaming, you'll notice the lack of pixels. Now for everyday usage like checking mails or Facebook or even while watching videos on YouTube, display is pretty good. Viewing angles are great and sunlight legibility is good. Now coming to the cameras, this is the camera application or the camera interface that we get, which looks very similar to Oppo and Vivo phones with modes on either side, which have been copied from the iPhone. It even has this button over here for 2x digital zoom. Now like all the phones that are released in the past year, even this one has portrait mode for the front and rear cameras. So to use portrait mode, click this button or enable this toggle. Now while taking portrait shots, we can even change the amount of blur effect we want by doing this. Now that's a little unique feature that we get on this phone. Now even for the front facing camera, it supports portrait mode. So here we go. We can record video in 1080p resolution. It also has panorama, time lapse and something called group selfies, which is like a panorama shot for the front facing camera. Now these are some sample shots taken using the rear camera. It has good color reproduction, exposure control is decent. Now these are some selfies. It does overexpose a little bit to make you look fair, but selfies look good. Now these are some portrait selfies. Edge detection in portrait mode isn't perfect but still manageable. It does a pretty decent job. Now here's a sample video footage from the rear camera. There is no stabilization, but color reproduction and exposure control look pretty good. Now this is a sample footage recorded using the front-facing camera. So guys, on the whole, cameras are pretty good on the phone, especially the front-facing camera. So guys, coming to the performance, as this phone comes with a very basic entry-level processor, it performs in the similar way. But because of the software optimization, everything feels very responsive. Because of the 4GB of RAM, even the memory management is pretty good. Now coming to gaming, because of the Adreno 505 GPU and the HD Plus resolution, you can play most of the high-end games like Asphalt 8 or Modern Combat 5 with little to no lag. Now coming to the software section, this phone is running a skinned version, so we don't have an app drawer and everything is redesigned. We have the redesigned notification area, redesigned notification toggles. Even the settings page looks completely different. So this is the about page, and as you can see, it is still running Android 7.1.1 Nougat, which is kinda sad. Just like previous Gionee phones, even this phone comes with a lot of cool features like screen gestures, fingerprint gestures, clone apps, app clone, group selfies, and many more. So far in my usage, software experience was pretty consistent. Now coming to the audio experience, this is how the speaker sounds from the bottom. It is sufficiently loud and clear for media consumption, ringtones and alarms, so no issue over there. Now the audio experience on headset is okay. Now coming to the battery department, which happens to be the most important thing about this phone just comes with a 3000 mAh battery. I think Gionee has cut down a little to give us a much sleeker and lightweight phone. Now with that said, battery life is pretty decent on normal usage. I've used this phone for 2 days like a very normal basic phone, and it did survive a day. On average, I got around 4 hours of screen on time for calls, messages on WhatsApp, watching videos on YouTube and a little bit of Instagram. So I would say for a very basic user, battery life should be pretty good. So guys, to conclude, this is definitely not the best phone in the world or the best phone in its price segment, but if you're looking for a phone that looks super stylish, sleek and light in weight, and if you want to buy it only in the offline market, then you can definitely consider this phone. It looks very premium, it's sleek, light in weight, and cameras are pretty good. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag ASKGREEDYTECH on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.